Wow, that went fast. I was told before I started this new season in my life that the year would go by very quickly, and even still I'm blown away completely by how it has disappeared on me. This has altogether been the most rewarding and challenging, exciting and sobering, ego-pumping and humbling and educational experience of my life. I thank all of you for the trust you have placed in me by giving me the opportunity to serve as your president. When I set out on the journey, I had a few goals, personally and for the organization. I wanted, like most presidents, to leave the place in a better state than when I started. I was surprised when I was nominated that the committee would consider that I had a skill set that would be valuable to the organization at this time. The AMA staff have a saying after watching many people go through this experience: we always get the president we need at the time. I hope I have served you well. So what were my goals? I really wanted to have a successful outcome to our negotiations. As it turned out, because of the amazing skill set of our negotiating team, I wasn't really needed in the actual negotiations. Even though there were lots of times where we thought the minister and I were going to have to meet to hammer things out, the teams got through the difficulties and a deal was reached. Where I was needed was in the communication of the deal. I discovered skills I didn't even know were there in being able to explain the intricacies of the deal in multiple different ways. This need to explain to members was equally of use in explaining the complexities of our AMA compensation strategy. That lined up perfectly with my second goal. I really wanted to examine and to try to improve the way the AMA communicates to members. I've discovered that I've learned a ton from my son on how to connect in new and different ways. I spent many hours on the phone and in Google Hangout learning how to make and edit videos and podcasts and how to create content. Our communications staff have been right there with me, learning and experimenting with different techniques. By being willing to experiment, I think we've opened the door to a new standard in communications with our members. I've received countless positive comments from members on the President's Letters format, and that is very satisfying. We are now developing a new communication strategy that will hopefully result in even better two-way communications between the AMA board and its members. That ability to link directly with our members has never been more important than in these days of instant discourse via social media. We have a lot to look forward to as an organization. The new agreement has put in place many things we've been working on for years. We will soon have legislation that gives all Alberta physicians the ability to have the AMA represent them. We've been able to transform PCN governance from 42 local entities into a single centralized model that will truly provincial initiatives to occur across all of primary care. We've also been able to morph our change management programs from a segmented and unstable collection into a stable and integrated program that is now the largest change management program for physicians in the country and will serve our physicians even better in the coming years. Our future negotiated agreements will be able to focus on stability of funding rather than having to renegotiate the individual programs as we have in the past. In addition, our provincial health system is evolving to enable patient information to be available to physicians and our patients to have access to their health information wherever they are, in the hospital, in the physician's office, or even at their kitchen table. This eventual ability to access patient information will allow us to evolve from considering the patient's medical home to the medical neighborhood and coordination of all various caregivers in the care of our patients. With this newfound stability in our programs and in the plans for system improvements, we are able to expand our focus in important new directions. The emerging priority of a healthy workplace, including examining and making a difference in the areas of diversity of leadership, equity and the equity pay gap, and the gender pay gap, respect in the workplace, and physician burnout will all prove to be challenging and exciting as our organization moves forward. Our relationships with our health partners are going to be a major influence on us over the coming years. The recent major changes in the CMA governance and their plan to move their focus from few physicians to many physicians will fit very well with our planned emphasis on engaging our members through various methods. Our relationship with the CMA promises to be an important part of our organization's priority going forward. Our relationship with AHS and the Government of Alberta will similarly need to be nurtured as we work toward improving our healthcare system. We have maintained our position in Canada as a group of physicians who care so greatly about how the system works for our patients that we focus on the positives in our dealings with all our system partners, and we work through the inevitable disagreements to come up with changes that benefit our patients. It is clear that there's still a long way to go on many fronts, but it's also clear that true system improvement cannot happen without physicians as the leaders of change. I want to end with a little story. A stranger was driving along a rural road when he had the misfortune of going into the ditch. A rancher happened by and found the man stuck in the ditch with his car. He offered to use his horse Buddy to pull the car out. The rancher hooked up Buddy to the car and then yelled, "Okay, Nellie, pull." Nothing happened. Then he yelled, "Okay, Daisy, pull." Nothing happened. Then he yelled, "Okay, champ, pull." Again, nothing happened. Finally, he yelled, "Okay, Buddy, pull." And the horse dug in and pulled the car right out of the ditch. The driver was very puzzled by this and asked the rancher why he called out the names of 3 other horses before he called on Buddy. The rancher said, "It's simple. Buddy is blind. If he thought he was the only one doing the work, he never would have even tried." So all of us are surrounded by many others who are helping us pull the workload. I want to particularly recognize the people who've been there pulling along with me. Virginia Fullerton at Sunny Hill Pediatric and Marilyn Gehring at Group 23, along with Jacqueline Broverman and my wife Colleen, all worked in the background to keep me organized. In fact, they were all together on one single Google Calendar so I could keep that all straight. Other AMA staff, including the office executive staff, Chris Fleck and Linda Scott and Stacy Dominiak, who you've all met, they're all amazing organizers who really made me feel so much more competent than I felt. The AMA senior staff are all amazing at what they do. I'd like them to stand up because we didn't do it in introductions and be introduced. So Cameron Plitt, Gail Burnett, Vic Taylor, Christine Fleck, Jim Houston, Lyle Middlestead, Doug Stitch, Shannon Rupnarain, and Sean Smith. If we can give them a round of applause. They lead more than 125 AMA staff, and our organization is truly blessed to have each of them pulling with us. I also want to thank our AMA Board of Directors for your wisdom, ideas, thoughtful discernment, and guidance over this year. Together, you have contributed far more than any one person could do. I want to thank the physicians at Sunny Hill Pediatrics and Group 23 Sports Medicine for picking up the slack over this year while I was away so much. You really made it so none of my patients fell through the cracks. And speaking of my patients, I want to thank you and your parents for the trust you have given me, the lessons you have taught me, and the joy you bring every time you visit. I want to especially thank our Executive Director, Mike Gormley. Mike, it's been amazing to work alongside you this year, to get a glimpse into your ability to see the future and all its possibilities, and to guide this organization along the path that is best for all physicians and patients of Alberta. It's truly been a privilege to watch ideas form and grow on the whiteboard in the Kennedy Room, and then flourish as the board and members give them input and direction. You continue to focus on what's important, the health of our patients in the system. You've mentored me, as you have the previous 17 past presidents, and made me better, and I thank you for that. Finally, I want to thank my family, Derek and Jessica, Ryan, Laura, and Ben, and especially Colleen, for standing beside me and pulling along with me. We knew going in that this year would be a challenge to our ability to cope with all the excitement, all the good and the bad that life brings, in addition to the new AMA work. We've come out of this much stronger than we went in, and Colleen, I thank you for being my companion, sounding board, guide, exercise buddy, travel partner, and best friend for the past 51 years as we've done life together. And you're all trying to do the math right now, right? So we met in grade 2. So now it's time to pass the yoke on to Dr. Alison Clark. As the staff say, where are you? As the staff say, you're the perfect person to lead us into this next season of our organization's growth. I will stay here, one step back, helping to pull with you as you lead us. Thank you all for challenging me and rewarding me beyond what I could have imagined. So you may ask now, what am I going to do now that I've finished my year as president? Well, I'm going to Disneyland.